What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today I wanted to kind of follow up with you guys on these nice little T-Rex crash bars that I got. I did an installation video, and of course I will link that up here, so if you want to check out how to actually install these. I did a fairly detailed video on how to get it done, but the plan for today is to follow up with you guys on how it's been going, because obviously I've had them for 2 to 3 weeks now. I've been able to ride around on-road, off-road, obviously commuting. I commute daily on this thing. So let's start with number one. In my opinion, the most notable thing about these crash guards is the fact that not only do we get to install them on this adventure model, but the adventure model comes with these lower crash bars, and it comes with these kind of smaller upper crash bars, but also these lights. Now, a lot of the crash bars you're going to buy or find out there, you actually have to take some of these off to fit them, and that was a big no-go to me. I did not want to be taking parts off of this already $1,000 more expensive bike than the base one to have these crash guards. So they work with the stock crash bars. Nothing needed to be adjusted. The only thing that really changes, a few bolts that you have to swap out that actually come with the kit. Very easy thing to do. I would say the bottom was quite difficult to get the 2 bolts in there, and of course, like I said, if you're struggling with that or any of these, I did struggle on a few spots, so if you watch the video you'll see where I struggled, and I explained how I got through those struggles. So that would be the first thing I like about these crash bars. The second thing I like about them is just the simple design and look. I actually think that these personally look really good on the motorcycle. I like that it gives it that little extra girth. The welds are pretty decent. Nothing looks tacky or cheap. I mean, I would have maybe cleaned up some of these welds a little bit more. They're not perfect, but they're pretty dang good, and I think that these actually make the bike look better, in my opinion. So I don't know what you guys think. Put it down in the comments. Do you guys actually think these look good, or are they too much, too overwhelming for the bike? So for the third thing that I like about them is the fact that now that they're on here, I have the feeling that I'm not as much worried about crashing the bike anymore. Obviously, that's the point of them, right? That if we crash the bike, we're not going to damage all of these fairings. We're going to put most of the weight and most of the damage on these bars, which are easily removed and spray painted back to normal. And that's a big deal for me. So maybe this is the most expensive motorcycle in the world, but nobody in the world wants to drop it and destroy fairings and have to buy a bunch of different pieces. So just the added security that I get while I'm riding it, I feel more confident about riding it. I feel like I could take it off-road, and if I crash it, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting is when the box showed up, these things were not heavy at all. I was pleasantly surprised that they were much lighter than what I had expected them to be. Like, picking up the box and carrying it around was a big, massive box. It was almost like it was empty, but they're obviously very strong. And I feel that they didn't add that much weight. I'll try and figure out how much they actually weighed. I wish I would have weighed them before I put them on. I was just so excited to get it done. We already know this is a fairly heavy motorcycle, and all these things we keep adding, just make this bike even heavier and heavier. But let me tell you, even off-road, this thing still feels fantastic. I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and I don't feel like I gained some insane amount of weight by installing these bars. So I think that's pretty dang cool. So something else I started noticing after installing them was I think it would be pretty dang easy to get certain types of straps and be able to, like, say, roll up a sleeping bag or maybe your thick, heavy jacket because you're out there and you just don't want to, you already have all your stuff full. You could, essentially roll up a jacket or something and just strap it to this. And I think that's really cool that we just have that much extra space. Not that we need to keep loading this thing down, but you know how it goes. You see the pictures and videos of people in their KLRs, and they're just full of garbage. At some point, yes, we go too far, but I think it's still pretty rad that we could do that with these. So now that we've talked about the things I do like about it, we need to get into some of the things that are negative about it, because they are definitely not perfect, and there's a few things that are actually bothering me about them. So the most notable thing I do not like about these bars is going to be the placement of this right hand upper bar. Now, if you can see on the other side here, this one is considerably lower. This one up here is mounted all the way up here, and the reason for that is there's too many extra things within this frame. So I understand why they put it up here, but I'll tell you, the top of my calf sits right on this bolt, and it does start to feel sore after a while. Now, I'm not going to say, especially now having had them and rode them off-road and on-road, like I said, for quite a while now, knowing that, I would still go and buy these. But I do think it's important to note that it is kind of annoying. Now, if we were wearing taller boots when we're off-road, yeah, you probably wouldn't feel it. it doesn't hurt, but it's there, and you notice that something's pushing in on your thigh to the point where it started to feel a little bit sore. So I kind of wish they would come up maybe with a different version of these, whether the bracket was some kind of, V-shaped bracket or something that kind of brought this a little bit lower. I think that would be a huge benefit for these. Hopefully, T-Rex, you can figure that out. I know I'm sure you probably did this design for a strength reason of some sort, but it would be pretty cool if that wasn't rubbing the top of our calves. So the next thing I would say that I don't like about it is really kind of the front. And to me, it's just kind of unfinished here. Like, this isn't, I mean, it's a functional, piece. You got a smaller rod inside and these two bolts holding all of this together. But ultimately, they're not touching anything on the bike. So I would assume if you were to hit over here, you could potentially force or bend, this topper portion of it. And the fact that it has these two silver bolts, silver washers, silver lock washers, they just stand out and look stupid. I think this hardware should have come black so that it was less noticeable. Minor annoyance. We could paint them. We could get some kind of plastic caps, or hell, we could go out and buy our own black hardware of some sort and try and solve that problem on our own. But I think that's kind of annoying. I think it stands out as a why. Why isn't that a black series of bolts or something a little bit cleaner than that? So my last dislike is not necessarily a dislike that is targeted towards the T-Rex bars themselves, as much as just simply any kind of bar. What worries me about them is the fact that depending on how you hit the bike, how you crash, the potential, lateral movement that this bar could force onto the frame itself could officially damage the entire bike. You destroy the frame of your motorcycle, you're screwed. That is my slight only kind of nervous, like, do I really want bars or do I not want to have bars, is the potential damage to the frame that we could do because they're mounted all over the frame. Obviously, so are the stock crash bars. Like I said, it's a gig towards all crash bars. And I'm not positive, like I said, if that would be the case. I am just kind of thinking through all the possibilities or the negative things that could happen to it. Now, obviously, I haven't crashed this motorcycle yet, but when I do, I will let you know how it goes. If any of you in the comments have had, instances of crashing your KLRs or your off-road motorcycles that have, similar bars, some kind of external crash guards, have you destroyed your frames? I think that would be neat. I'm sure everyone would want to hear about your experience. So if you have, and that has happened to you, please put it down in the comments there so we could all read it. It might benefit somebody. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys. This was a short, quick little review. I just wanted to kind of catch you guys up after I did the installation, give you a little more information on these crash bars. I am very happy with them. Knowing the annoyances and frustrations, yes, I would go buy them again. I like them that much. I think they are perfect for this motorcycle. I think the design is perfect. Of course, that is all opinions, whether they look cool or don't to you. But I hope this was useful for you guys. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.